All right, all right. What is it, week 13? Picks of pain. Get ready
Picks of
for
pain.
the pain.
Let's do it.
For the
All right.
pain.
First and foremost,
Anything to say?
not really. The NFC East is trash, and the AFC is awesome.
This is weird, because normally the NFC is the powerhouse and the AFC is kind of garbage, but damn.
I love football. I love the randomness of it, but holy crap, this is...
Just get a shot ready.
Yeah, I'll get a shot ready. Basically, of all the NFC teams that are in a wild card spot right now, you're basically guaranteed, and that is amazing. Because there are 6 teams in the NFC with a winning record, but there's 7 playoff spots, whereas the AFC has way goddamn more than that. So
There's going to be some deserving. There's going to be some 10-6 teams sitting at home in the AFC. Maybe even 11-5.
maybe we do swear too much. We'll get to it. All right.
Do we swear too much?
I don't know. It's how I talk. All right, let's get to it. First game we both got wrong. Washington at Dallas. All right, obvious. I knew
Obvious.
Washington had a shot here. I just thought Dallas, would bounce back from their last defeat, especially given that it was Thanksgiving in Dallas.
Mike
What do you
McCarthy should be fired for that 4th
Yes,
and 10. That
oh my
fake
God.
Pump. As soon as I saw that, I'm like,
How about
what
the 4th
heck,
and inches
man?
passing call?
Just give it to Zeke, man. A 4th and inches? What? He was probably doing like some reverse psychology, like, oh, they're probably thinking it's going to be a run, so I would do a pass.
So you know what's crazy about reverse psychology? You're a genius
If
it
it works.
works. If it works, you're a genius. If not, you're really goddamn stupid.
But that 4th and 10, man, like, that
There was
just
no reason
rattled
for
me
that.
to the core. I was like, why would you do that? Was there like 10 and a half, 11 minutes left, and you're only down like 4 points,
Yep.
and then you got blown out.
You lost 41-16, and the name redacted scored 21 points in the 4th quarter alone, meaning you were only down by like 9 or 10 or 11.
Well,
You're
that
very
4th down
close.
set him up for
Yeah,
a touchdown.
absolutely.
So,
And then they had to go for it on 4th, and yeah, just it was a snowball effect. Like, that was pathetic.
get rid of him,
All right, if
please.
The Cowboys are undoubtedly deserving of being the worst team in the NFC right now, of which they are, and deal with it. You've earned it. Good job. Fire Mike McCarthy. You were happy about getting a Super Bowl winning coach. No, there's a reason he was available.
Dude, we called it before. We said
We
Mike
did!
McCarthy had Aaron Rodgers and did nothing for like 8 straight years.
For the handful
Well,
of people
after
that
the
pay
Super Bowl,
attention to
but-
us, thank you.
After the Super Bowl. He did nothing.
We have our moments.
Okay.
Let's
Next
move on.
game we were both wrong on. Let's take a shot
This one
here.
hurt me. Las Vegas at Atlanta.
Here we go.
My dad's a Raider fan, and playoff hopes and all that. That game sucked.
It does help me and my Ravens.
It
because
helped
of
my
that. So,
team, and I still didn't want to see this happen.
But
It's
damn,
one thing to lose 23-20. It's another thing to get clapped by a 3-win team in Atlanta.
like 41-6 or whatever. Like
43-6. It's exactly the exact loss that happened to the Dolphins in Denver.
It was embarrassing.
Playing a 3-win team on the road and being a heavy favorite and losing badly.
I think they slept. Like they're probably like, yeah, we don't really need a practice. We could probably do like a walkthrough and beat them.
Which is weird coming from Gruden. You'd think he'd be past that after all his years.
Apparently he's not, because he just got like, if you lose close on the road to that, it's like, okay, whatever, sure, you lost to an inferior team, but they got their asses kicked.
That's the thing. They had 5 turnovers, the Raiders did, and 4 of them you can rest at the feet of Derek Carr. It really makes me wonder how the Raiders are going to be moving forward from this, because Carr had 3 fumbles and a pick 6. The weird thing about that is the Raiders' defense actually didn't allow like a great passer rating. They did fine, all things considered, but 5 turnovers obviously led to that 37-point defeat.
You know, at the end of the game, I kind of feel like the Falcons were trying to do the same thing, where they're like, they have a big lead, and instead of just running the ball, they keep throwing, and they were doing that. Like, right before they scored a touchdown and made it like 38-6 or whatever it was, they were still throwing the ball, and they stopped the clock with like, I don't know how many minutes left in the 3rd quarter. I'm like, why? Just run the damn ball, please. Why haven't you guys learned this, Atlanta?
They
You
learned
gotta-
it better. In the Super Bowl, they ran it 4 times after the half. So
I mean, I guess he still won, but just run the ball when you're up.
I mean, honestly, it wasn't unforeseeable with how the Falcons do things. It's just it was still weird to see. And like I said, watching it with my dad, who's a Raiders fan, it kind of sucked to see, even though it benefited my playoff odds. So
Was it just because it was your dad and he's just like, ow, my
weirdly
heart.
enough, he actually didn't take it that way. He said if it's a game his team blows, it infuriates him. But if it's a team they're just outclassed from the start, it doesn't hurt him that much. There was wisdom in that.
That would hurt me, though.
Oh, God, yeah. I'd kill myself. We're going on. We'll give you this next one. Tennessee. That's what I said. Tennessee and Indianapolis. You know, I had a couple drinks before this, so.
Tennessee. Okay. Well, they split the division series, which isn't surprising. I thought Indy would be a little bit better than Tennessee this year.
However, this
not.
game is huge for
huge.
the winner because Indy dropped week 1 to the Jags.
Which is weird. No one saw that. No one saw that coming.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about this game.
Tennessee.
King Henry. Holy shit.
Yep.
How many touchdowns did he have?
I don't know.
3, yeah, at least.
Okay, 3.
But before the half, I think he had 3. Like, he was crazy.
He's better in the second half usually. Like normally he's okay in the first half or bad, but then in the second half he just everyone's like, I don't want to tackle him, it hurts.
Yeah.
And then they stop tackling.
This was the kickback I expected when Tennessee played Indy in Tennessee. I expected this outcome in Tennessee, but they got clapped, and now the inverse is true. So I guess this is now just one of those rivalries where home team doesn't matter.
So it's Indy normally wins in Tennessee now.
I guess.
Tennessee wins in Indy. It's
as
just,
long as they're both talented.
they split. It's not that big of a...
It was a good game for 5 drives. You know, Tennessee scored, Indy scored. Tennessee scored, Indy scored. And then Tennessee scored again.
And then
and
Indy
then scored
stopped
again.
scoring.
And then scored again just before the half.
Yeah.
And again, Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill are really just the crux of that team. And A.J. Brown had a great game, too. He had a huge touchdown pass. And I believe he's also who returned an onside kick that the Colts needed late to really drive in the nail. Beautiful game. I enjoyed it, okay? I actually didn't watch my game as much as I thought. I watched more of this game than my game, and it was a good one.
Would you want to watch your game if you're beating the Jets? Because you're
We're
like,
not,
the
we'll get
Jets
to that.
aren't
We'll
coming
get to
back.
that. We'll
Okay,
get to that.
man.
But the
Okay.
Tennessee Colts game was cool to watch. It really was. Even though it was 35-14 at the half.
Okay.
Good game. I mean, the Titans are someone to look out for, and the Colts, maybe. It just kind of...
The
It's
Colts
one of
could
those
be a
games that makes
playoff
me
team.
feel like you gotta fear them depending on the day, you know?
Do you think the Colts are better than you thought?
Yeah.
You think they could be a playoff team?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But with how competitive the AFC is, maybe less so. So
The AFC's stupid.
we'll move on.
AFC's stupid good.
All right, Arizona at New England. We'll both take a shot for this one. My brother's a Cardinal fan, and I know this one broke his heart.
Man, it breaks my heart. Just because New England won. And I feel like Arizona is the better team this year.
They were.
But they lost in like the last 60 seconds of that game, so...
Yeah. Zane Gonzalez missed a field goal that was very makeable. Cam Newton scrambled, took a late hit penalty, or unnecessary
That was a
roughness.
stupid penalty that
Placed them in field goal range, and then
Yeah.
Nick Folk, of all god dang people, put it away. Honestly, it's one of those games that makes me feel like, Cardinals, why'd you lose by a field goal? You had this.
They had the game.
They
They were
actually-
the better team,
At the
dude.
end of the half, the Cardinals were on the goal line. They could have just kicked the field goal, and ipso facto, they'd have been fine right there. They went for it
sad.
on 4th and goal from the 1 just before the end of the half.
Why are you
they
letting
didn't
New
have
England
to do that.
win, man? Like, New England's still technically alive in the AFC playoffs right now. The picture, technically, I mean, they're mathematically the worst, but you're letting them hang around a little bit. The AFC is so good. There's only like 4 teams that are eliminated. The rest of the AFC is still alive.
Yeah, don't do Belichick any favors.
They're
He'll beat
doing
you
them
on defense and
favors.
special teams, and that's exactly what you did. Like, don't do that. Like, seriously. That easy. Just, it's a shame because the Cardinals went from this exciting, popular team, and they'll still make the playoffs for sure. But this was one of those games that makes you feel like, are they kind of a pretender?
The Cards?
They've now lost to the Lions, the Panthers, the Pats.
Yeah.
I feel like the Seahawks and Dolphins is at least fair, but
They've lost to some inferior teams where I feel like roster-wise and coaching-wise, you're better, but you lost a game. So, like, what
you gotta
the heck,
take
guys?
it. Yeah, you gotta take it into the tally.
They might be a little bit of a... Or they might not be... I don't know.
They need to bounce back against this week against the Rams. Otherwise, they're in serious jeopardy, playoff-wise.
Yes.
Next we got... Okay. What's funny about this game, Baltimore and Pittsburgh, we actually changed our picks in our league.
Well,
However,
take the shot anyway because we
that
didn't
was
change
after we made the video. So, we're not unfair. We
did
messed
say
up.
that the Ravens would win, but then like a day later, all the COVID problems started popping up, and then the game got rescheduled, and blah 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 blah. It's not surprising the Ravens lost because they had so many. Like it was just so unfair with all the people that were out on COVID and crap, and they didn't even get a practice. Like I fully expected the Steelers to win, but they barely won. Like that was a sloppy, bad game on both teams, and it came down to basically the last play of the game.
Sadly.
So, okay, shot
It
to
wasn't
that.
a game I could see much of, but the highlights made me sad to at least be aware of the game. It was
RG3
a
basically lost the game.
stupid bad game. Top to bottom.
RG3 threw a pick six, and then like the next drive he fumbled it, and the Steelers recovered. So like that instantly put the Steelers.
All year we've been saying the Steelers are overrated, and now this is the first week I've really heard a pro analyst, Colin Cowherd, say, hey, they're not actually a good team. And, cool. We knew they had the second easiest schedule. But goddamn, that was god dang. That was a bad game. That was a bad game. You had over 100 penalty yards on the Ravens, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, it was like 86.
It's a lot. How many do the Steelers have?
30.
Okay, so not close.
It's been in both. It feels like it's every game. The only game where the Steelers have had less or more penalty yards than their opponent was the Broncos.
Yeah, that was
That's
the
it.
only one.
That's it. I feel like the refs really. I don't know if they're like helping them out because they're Steeler fans or like the Steelers just everything goes their way. Like they do get a lot of bull crap calls go their way. I don't know if it's incidental or what, but.
Imagine being apparently the best seed in the AFC and beating a team ravaged by at least a half margin by COVID and only winning by 5.
You didn't even cover the spread.
You didn't even frickin' get the last first down of the game. We all saw that. He wasn't even close.
They initially called it a fourth down. They called it on the field, and they were gonna go punt, and then they reviewed it and they said we'll give them the first down, even though they measured it and it was short.
And before the half, there was a good shot at getting in the end zone, but the Steelers should have committed to the delay of game. And again, we're talking about the Steelers and the refs, and I don't like to do that. I'd like to weigh the Steelers on what they are, but what they are is basically non-existent. They aren't a team, they're a team and the refs. And I hate that because it's lazy to pick them over a team because it's the Steelers versus this team and the refs. And it's lazy. I hate that. But at least a couple analysts are starting to see that.
Some are. Because stuff does have to go your way to be 11-0. Like, the ball has to roll your way on a lot of this crap. And with some of these calls and shit, stuff has been going their way. Had it been the other way, they could be 6-5 right now, or 7-4.
To a stupid degree. Let's just move on. It's terrible, but whatever.
We'll see in the playoffs.
We got San Fran at the Rams. Okay, this game was cool. Okay, I guess Shanahan has McVay's number.
Did you pick the Niners?
I did not, but I'm glad they won because it makes me hopeful for Monday. The Niners, we ripped on them a lot last year. they're not as bad as we gave credit for. And Nick Mullins and a good run game and a good defense was enough to beat the Rams, who are a weird powerhouse.
See, we hated on them because of Jimmy Garoppolo.
And he's out, so I guess we should give him more respect.
And we said they were overrated because he was hurt all the time.
They just swept the Rams.
And once again,
they beat him in LA.
He's hurt.
Sean McVay is apparently a genius, so the Niners might be better than we give credit. Maybe the Niners this year are genuinely just unlucky. This is a cool game. The highlights basically point out the Niners controlled the game until about the last half quarter, but then they did enough to tie, and then they did enough to win. It was a cool game.
Yeah.
I enjoyed seeing it.
It was a good game. It's divisional, so I mean they're always pretty close.
Of course,
whatever.
but still, sweeping a superior divisional opponent is fantastic. It just shows there's more talent there than we gave credit for.
That I think coaching plays a little bit of that. I think Shanahan just has McVay's number, dude.
Absolutely, and
Right now he does. So
it makes me think we should maybe give him a little more credit going forward. Hence why I picked the Niners to beat the Bills, and god damn, I hope they do.
That'd be cool.
For me at least. But yes. All right, there's not much more to say about
I don't know
that
how
game.
that would help the Ravens odds, but sure. NFC team beating an AFC team.
Last game, Carolina at Minnesota. I had 5 shots. This is now your 7th. Say what you will. No. Carolina did not have that good of a game outside of their defense. They did tie a record from like in the 40s to fumble returns by a player in the same game. That was awesome. It was actually
back-to-back plays.
It was an exciting game.
Strange.
Exciting. But they came up just short. And, kept Vikings playoff hopes alive, not so much the Panthers. It was an enjoyable game, at least highlight-wise. It was exciting.
How do you lose a game in which you get 2 fumble returns?
Easy. Your offense scores less than 13 points.
Sad.
Yeah.
Like, that kept you in the game, undoubtedly. Like, if your defense scores and then scores again, you're like, yay! Like,
oh, not even
we
that.
didn't win the
Like,
game.
the Vikings also muffed a punt late in the game and only gave up 3. So you could even argue your offense scored less than 10 points or 10 points or less. It was that bad of a performance by the Panthers. The Vikings were just the better team. And at home, I guess. It is what it is.
I guess.
An exciting game based on... it shouldn't have been. Still good, though.
Let's move on. It's already
Houston
18
at
minutes.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right,
Houston
Houston
at
and Detroit.
Was this even like a question? Was it even a question that Detroit could win this game?
It would have benefited me if they could, and I still didn't see that as likely. I guess they were competitive up until the half, and then the Texans ran away with it. And then Matt Patricia got fired because apparently the entire state of Michigan and the rest of the United States that is a Lion fan agreed with that.
We've been saying to fire Matt Patricia like since last year.
Let's talk the drama on this. Like when Matt Patricia got fired, I believe it was Deshaun Watson's charity got $1,300 for, or whatever,
for getting him fired. Yeah.
The 13 wins that Matt Patricia had. Like people wanted him gone for so long, and he should have been gone. Never been a coach. Never should have been a coach. Pathetic.
Got rid of Jim Caldwell, whatever.
Whatever. They depleted Texans that might not win another game this year. Crushed you on a primetime slot on a holiday at home. Sad.
Dude, Thanksgiving was garbage. It was just 2 bad games.
Terrible.
And that game was competitive until like the 3rd quarter.
The start of the 3rd quarter.
And then the Texans ran away with it. So.
I'm going to move on here. We got the Chargers at Buffalo. This one pissed me off.
Chargers. Why do you always blow
They
games,
had
man?
3 turnovers in the 4th quarter, scored 3 points. They lost by 10. They could have won this. They had a 4th down that was turned away that could have also been turned into points. They actually genuinely could have won this game.
If I were a Chargers fan, like, I'd die from this so much at the heartbreak, man. Just being in all these games and having all these leads and getting all these like magical turnovers and crap at the end of the game and just losing. Like,
how do you get 3 turnovers in a quarter and lose? Most teams don't get 3
in the
turnovers in a
quarter,
game.
In the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and I was, of course, checking out that game more than mine because, I was in control. And it just kept pissing me off or regularly making me mad.
You just wanted the Bills to lose. Come on.
Yes, god dang it. I did. Moving on, we got the Giants and Cincy. This game was closer than it should have been. I kind of expected the Giants to cover the spread. But you know what? Bengals were surprisingly feisty. I don't expect them to do much without Burrow, but
it's also against the Giants.
That's the thing. That's the toss-up. Against a better team.
The Giants are still inferior to most teams, though. Like, they're not a very good... Especially with Daniel Jones being out,
Well, he wasn't out that game.
Well, didn't he get hurt in that game?
Sure. He did. Yeah.
But either way, the Giants aren't a very good team.
It's not a shot.
It's not a shot, but the Bengals keeping that game close, that's not surprising to me, honestly. I just
wasn't
figured
a
that the
terrible
Giants are a little bit better because Cincinnati's bad. Like,
Cincinnati
without Joe
is
Burrow,
bad.
they're really bad.
Even with Joe Burrow, they're pretty bad. It's just Joe Burrow's he's basically a shot of adrenaline to the heart. He's something.
Because he's the best player on that team, like, bar none, dude.
Yeah, obviously. What's cool is since he actually had a shot to win, Brandon Allen, I think was his name.
Brandon Allen?
Yeah, the backup quarterback. He actually had a shot to win late in the game. Basically, the Giants gave the ball back. Or did they interception turnover? I don't know. But basically, they're down by 2. He was midfield. He had a shot to get a little bit closer for a field goal. And then, weirdly enough, the Giants' defense actually held staunch. They immediately strip-sacked him. It makes me wonder... I mean, granted, no team in the NFC East is good. But can we maybe argue that they're at least kind of okay at points? Because, I mean, honestly, when a team needs to go 12 yards to be in field goal range and you get a strip sack, you can't deny that cause and effect right there. That's all right.
The NFC East is garbage.
The Giants or Washington has this, but I enjoyed the game.
Go football team. They're the long shots. I want the football team to win that division.
All right, Miami and New York.
Is there anything to say? Like, we knew that the Jets...
It was obvious. People have been talking shit all week saying, oh, you only beat the Jets by 17 points. But cool shit, we won by 3 scores. We didn't need to do more. And I kind of like that about Brian Flores. I think he's a Coach of the Year candidate because, honestly, he doesn't try and establish nonsense.
Why?
Win.
Like, why run up the score and try to get people hurt?
You could potentially run your running back's legs off or your wide receiver or your quarterback's arm by driving up the score on a meaningless win because we had this in the first quarter, sadly. Well, first half. But still, it was a game a lot of people wanted to give crap over, but it was established, it was done. And we beat a team where we had their coach a year ago on the road. 2 years ago. God
but
damn,
still,
it's been nice.
How the freak is Adam Gase still a coach in the NFL?
Do you know the amount of people I argued with that told me that the Jets were a better team just because of Adam Gase? I've got a lot of people to rip on. I got to look back just to do the ripping. Pathetic. Adam Gase should be fired. At this point... after week 17.
Adam Gase should be in jail
for fraud?
For being this big of a piece of shit as a coach.
I'm okay with that. I'll pay his bail if that's what you want. All right, Cleveland, Jacksonville. Weirdly competitive.
It was. They only won by 2 points, but it went down to the last 5 minutes of the game,
Mike
honestly.
Glennon
So
and the Jags were weirdly competitive. It was a
really
good game.
wanted to upset the Browns. If you would have beat the Browns, that would have been cool. I
This
wanted
was-
it to happen so bad.
This may have been the game of the week. This was a better game than the Chiefs, the Bucks.
Well, of course, because the Chiefs just ran this.
And we'll get to that.
Is that the next game?
It will be.
Okay.
What more do you have to say about Cleveland and Jags?
Cleveland is the far superior team, but maybe they just, I don't know, let their guard down and let Jacksonville hang around too long, and Jacksonville cut it scarily close, gave them a heart attack, but Cleveland still won.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's all you really got to say about it. So yeah, we'll go roll with that. And now we got New Orleans at Denver. Lied to you. Taysom Hill crushed the quarterbackless Broncos. Is there... Actually, this is probably the shortest one we'll ever have to say. Was there anything to say
You're
there?
playing a game without a quarterback, man. Like, that's... You're at such a gigantic disadvantage.
First string, second string, third string.
No practice squad QB. That's the most important position in football, and you're playing the best team in the NFC. Like, no one gave you a shot to win this game, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah,
like,
the practice squad wide receiver will be, at best, a Trivial Pursuit question in the years, but outside of that, yeah, the outcome happened that we expected.
he completed one pass to the Broncos.
That's all he needed to do and still lose. I mean, honestly.
The stats were terrible, but it's like, no one's being like, you're a piece of shit. You know, like, everyone's just like,
COVID.
I respect you,
It
bro.
happens.
Like, you weren't a quarterback in the NFL. You weren't a quarterback in college. Like,
That's how it is.
like that's like if you and I or any high school quarterback were to go play NFL football right now as a quarterback with no practice. It's just like, it's not going to be pretty.
Not going to do well.
So,
We're rambling a bit. KC at TB, Tampa Bay.
well, Kansas City basically blew the doors off of them and then just coasted, in Tampa Bay
But
kind
the
of climbed
Bucks
its way back in.
lost by only 3.
I don't care.
That's the GOAT right there.
I don't care.
Are you sure?
They came crawling back in the fourth quarter in
But
garbage
still
time.
almost didn't win.
Garbage time.
Oh, shit, you're right. Almost like Tom Brady's overrated and Patrick Mahomes is unstoppable. You know what we know for a fact? Patrick Mahomes can only lose in a shootout, and Tom Brady and the Bucks couldn't exhibit even close to a semblance.
We've known
Of a
for the
shootout.
last 3 years, Tom Brady just throws 5-yard, 10-yard passes. He doesn't throw above that.
No, hold on. They only lost by 3 points.
I don't give a single fuck. Not even half of a fuck.
Right, that doesn't matter when you're getting beat by a better team. You're right. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention all these years.
Oh wait, we were. We're being sarcastic. Ha ha ha. The Bucks suck.
They do. Straight up. Like, we said it earlier. The NFC has 6 winning teams. There's 7 slots. For God fucking sake, of course they're making the playoffs. We said they could. This is sad that people are happy about it. Oh, God, the goats
We never
get
said
into
that
playoffs.
they'd missed the playoffs. We said
It's possible
they were
could.
overrated.
Yeah.
We said that they'd probably be like 9-7.
We have a fair amount of dislikes on that
10
video.
and well, what are you gonna do if they miss the playoffs? Are you gonna be like the video now?
To be fair, there's only like 2 ways they could, and they both
They're not
rely on the
going to.
Bears and the Vikings. So
If they were in the AFC, they'd be fucked.
oh yeah, absolutely. If they were in the AFC, they'd miss the playoffs out frickin' right. You know? See?
But the NFC is
You like
it's
that?
soft.
You like that? I didn't say fuck there. Self-censoring.
Outside of is there any more games left?
We got Chicago and Green Bay.
Oh god,
Saddest game of the week, if you
dude,
ask
this
me.
was complete just manslaughter, man.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't even think the Bears were competitive outside of like the first 3 minutes.
I want the Bears to do better than they have been, but holy
The
shit.
Bears had like that one really big run in like the first quarter, and they got down to like the goal line, and like
Yep.
that's all they did all game.
The best stat about this game is that now the Bears, despite starting 5-1, are now on a 5-game skid. They're 5-6. This is
Been saying they're overrated every single week, and people are like, maybe it's just being too high on the Bears. And like, I think they're imposters.
Are you talking to my grandpa right now? Because
Yes.
okay,
No,
I don't think I like that.
There were some other people, but
Honestly, it was a game where the Bears were outclassed entirely. Their playoff odds are still alive, but basically by an IV. It's not much they can go on. But it was a game they were outclassed completely and entirely. Defense, offense, special teams. It was sad.
if they went out and kicked the Bucks out of the playoffs,
That'd be awesome.
I wouldn't be
I'd
complaining.
accept it.
I wouldn't be complaining.
Final game. Saddest game of the week. My God. Monday night, Seattle and Philly.
Was it sad? Because it was surprisingly close. It's just Seattle didn't play very good, but Philadelphia played like just awful that they kept around somehow. But Carson Wentz is just straight up garbage, dude.
You know, I got a friend who's a Philly fan. I've mentioned that before. I was just talking to him throughout this game. He wasn't happy at any point. There was a point where it was 4th and 4 from the Eagles down by 2 scores on the Seahawks 20-yard line, and rather than hitting a receiver on the curl route, he outright missed him and hit a Seahawks defender in the end zone for an interception. And what the hell is going on with Carson Wentz?
He was the only person in the end zone by like 15 yards. Like,
he didn't have a guy to defend. He was just oh shit, I've caught a pass. Cool.
Yes, he was the free safety, and he just rolled over to the right, and Carson Wentz hit him between the numbers. I'm like, are you playing for Seattle now or something, Carson Wentz? Like,
the Eagles literally had everything to play for, and they didn't come out flat. They came out as bad as they did. It was pathetic.
That was a bad game.
Honestly,
it was a really bad game. Like, watching that, I'm like, I don't even know if they could win that division. Like, they might be the worst team in the NFC East. It might be worse than the Cowboys.
Weirdly enough, they might be worse than the Cowboys, right?
And that's a big, like, because the Cowboys are so damn bad.
The Eagles are just damn bad.
But the Eagles are also that damn bad. Like, just watching the Eagles, like, I don't know why the NFL is doing this, but they keep putting NFC East games on
NFC East. We've got 2 of them this week again.
On primetime?
Stop it! I don't care about the football team or the Cowboys.
The Cowboys are going to be on the primetime, huh?
Both of them.
And the Eagles?
No, not them.
Or no, it's going to be Pittsburgh and Washington. That's right. And they're both going to lose.
All I can say is it was a weird week of football, but looking forward to the week after this one because holy shit, that's going to be the best week of football ever. And on that note,
peace out.